Silence is not weakness. Silence is power under control. There are moments in life when speaking too quickly can cost you peace, purpose, relationships, and even destiny. Wisdom is not proven by how much you say, but by knowing when not to say anything at all. There are situations where heaven does its greatest work while you remain quiet. There are battles you win not by arguing, but by refusing to enter the noise. The first situation is be silent when anger is rising. When emotions are hot, words become weapons. One sentence spoken in rage can destroy trust built over years. Many people have lost opportunities, marriages, friendships, and favor because they answered while wounded. When anger speaks, wisdom leaves the room. Silence in that moment is not surrender, it is self-mastery. The disciplined person knows that not every feeling deserves a voice. Pause, hold your peace, and let clarity return before you respond. Because often what you were about to say did not need to be said at all. There is tremendous power in the person who has learned not to react to every offense. Most people think strength is proven by having the last word, winning every argument, or responding to every attack, but true strength often reveals itself in restraint. A person ruled by emotion speaks quickly, reacts impulsively, and often damages what wisdom would have preserved. But a disciplined person understands that silence in moments of conflict is not weakness. It is mastery over self. When anger rises, silence becomes protection. When insults come, silence becomes dignity. When accusations appear, silence becomes strength. Anger has caused many people to lose in one moment what took years to build. A reputation can be damaged by one reckless outburst. A relationship can fracture because of words spoken in heat rather than wisdom. That is why self-control is greater than emotional release. Anyone can react, but not everyone can govern themselves. The one who remains calm when provoked has discovered a higher level of power. They understand that not every challenge deserves engagement. Some battles are designed to pull you into chaos, and silence keeps you above the storm. Retention hook. What if the breakthrough you need is hidden in the reaction you refuse to give? Consider the insult. Some people criticize not because you are wrong, but because your growth disturbs their comfort. They provoke because they want access to your peace. If every insult controls your response, then others control your emotions. But when you refuse to be baited, you demonstrate inner authority. Silence says, I know who I am, and I do not need to defend my value before every opinion. There is dignity in refusing to wrestle with pettiness. Eagles do not descend to argue in low places. They rise above them. Even in false accusation, wisdom may choose silence. This does not mean truth is ignored. It means truth does not panic. There are moments when defending yourself endlessly only gives life to misunderstanding. Character has a voice. Integrity speaks over time. Some things do not need immediate explanation because time itself will expose what words cannot correct. Great leaders understand this principle. They do not waste purpose answering every critic. They remain committed to assignment, while lesser voices consume themselves with noise. Silence in conflict also protects peace within. Every argument you avoid preserves emotional energy. Every provocation you refuse guards mental clarity. Peace is too expensive to be traded for proving a point. Some people win debates and lose joy. Others choose silence and keep both peace and power. This is wisdom. There is a profound authority in measured words. When you do not speak carelessly, your voice carries weight when you do speak. Silence gives strength to speech. Restraint gives credibility to conviction. And often the strongest person in the room is not the loudest one, but the one who remains composed when everyone else is reacting. Retention hook. Could it be that your greatest victory will come not from what you say in conflict, but from what you wisely refuse to say? Purpose is often fragile in its early stages. Like a seed beneath the soil, it requires protection before it can withstand exposure. Many dreams have been weakened, not because they lacked potential, but because they were announced before they were developed. Wisdom understands that not everything revealed to you is meant to be revealed by you immediately. There is power in carrying vision quietly until it matures. Silence protects what is sacred. It shields purpose from premature criticism, from careless opinions, and from the distractions that often surround anything valuable. Some people speak too soon about what they are building. They expose unfinished assignments to those who cannot see. beyond present limitations. But vision often grows in hidden places. The strongest foundations are laid underground where no one applauds. A tree survives storms because its roots were formed in silence long before the winds came. In the same way, purpose deepens when it develops privately before it is displayed publicly. Not every idea needs discussion. Not every calling needs announcement. Sometimes speaking too much about a dream releases energy that should have been invested in pursuing it. Retention hook. What if your next breakthrough requires less explanation and more quiet preparation? Silence also protects wisdom because wisdom listens. There is a difference between knowledge and understanding. Knowledge may come from speaking, but understanding often comes from hearing. Many people interrupt their own growth because they are too busy proving what they know rather than learning what they need. The wise person asks questions, observes carefully, and allows silence to become a teacher. In quiet observation, patterns are revealed. In listening, discernment grows. Some answers only emerge when your own voice stops competing with truth. There is another danger: silence protects you from distraction. Every opportunity is not an assignment. Every invitation is not aligned with purpose. Some voices seek not to support your calling, but to divert it. Distraction often appears important, urgent, or even flattering. But wisdom recognizes that focus is preserved by refusing unnecessary noise. You cannot fulfill a high purpose while responding to every interruption. Great things are often accomplished not only by what people pursue, but by what they ignore. Silence also builds inner strength because it allows conviction to mature without constant outside interference. If every step of your journey depends on external validation, your purpose becomes vulnerable to public opinion. But when vision grows in silence, it develops roots in conviction rather than applause. Then opposition cannot easily shake what approval did not create. Even in conversation, those who speak less often perceive more. They recognize motives others miss. They hear meaning beneath words. They avoid careless commitments because they are not rushed into reaction. This is wisdom at work. Purpose flourishes when protected. Wisdom deepens when listening increases. Strength grows when distraction loses access. And often the most powerful progress happens where few people can see it. Do not mistake silence for inactivity. Silence can be strategic development. It can be focused discipline. It can be hidden preparation for visible impact. Retention hook. Could the reason your purpose feels delayed be that it has been overexposed when it was meant to be strengthened in silence first? Character is often revealed not in what a person announces, but in what they quietly embody. Anyone can perform goodness when there is an audience, but true maturity is seen when virtue continues without recognition. There is something powerful about the person who does right without needing applause, gives without broadcasting it, who remains steady without demanding attention for their faith. Silence in these moments is not emptiness, it is evidence of depth. It shows a life anchored in humility rather than ego, in conviction rather than performance. Generosity is one of the purest expressions of character. When a person gives and does not seek credit, they reveal that their motive is love, not image. Many people serve only where they can be seen, but spiritual maturity does not need a stage. It understands that the greatest acts often happen in hidden places. Some of the most powerful seeds ever planted were sown where no one celebrated them. There is authority in serving silently because it protects the heart from pride. When giving becomes a spectacle, the reward often ends in human praise. But when generosity remains quiet, it shapes the soul. Retention hook. What if the greatest evidence of your growth is found in the good you do that nobody knows about? Silence also reveals maturity through compassionate presence. There are moments when people do not need advice. They need someone willing to remain with them in pain. Many rush to fill suffering with explanations, but wisdom understands that presence can minister more deeply than words. To sit with grief without trying to dominate it with speech is a profound act of love. Silence in such moments is not absence, it is honor. It says your pain deserves reverence. That kind of compassion reflects inner authority because it is rooted not in needing to appear wise, but in genuinely caring. And then there is the silence of trust. This is perhaps one of the highest forms of spiritual maturity. Anyone can profess faith when circumstances are favorable, But when life becomes uncertain, when answers delay, when pressure increases and still a person remains inwardly steady, that reveals depth. Panic is often the language of fear, but quiet trust is the language of faith. It does not mean there are no questions. It means questions do not overthrow confidence in purpose. There is dignity in a spirit that refuses to be ruled by anxiety. Some people speak constantly out of fear, trying to control outcomes through worry and complaint. But mature faith often waits in silence, believing that unseen processes are still unfolding. That kind of trust carries authority because it is not fragile. It does not collapse under delay. Humility, compassion, and trust all grow in quiet places. They are not usually loud qualities, yet they carry tremendous power. Character is formed where ego becomes silent. Spiritual maturity grows where panic loses its voice. And often the strongest people are not those who make the most noise about their virtue, but those whose quiet consistency reveals who they truly are. Retention hook. Could it be that your next level of authority will come not through speaking more about faith and character, but through silently embodying them? Many people think power is always expressed through action, confrontation, or constant response, but some of the greatest victories are won through restraint. There is a strategy in silence that many overlook. It is not passive, it is not fear, it is deliberate wisdom. There are battles you lose the moment you choose to engage them, because their purpose was never to defeat you through strength, but to drain you through distraction. Disciplined silence protects you from fighting unnecessary wars. It keeps your energy focused on purpose rather than conflict. Sometimes the most powerful move you can make is no reaction at all. Not every criticism deserves an answer. Not every accusation deserves defense. Not every provocation deserves attention. Some voices are sent to derail momentum. If you respond to every attack, you may spend your life managing noise instead of fulfilling assignment. But silence can close doors that argument would keep open. It can deny access to confusion. It can prevent small conflicts from becoming major battles. There is wisdom in knowing when a response would strengthen a problem rather than solve it. Retention hook. What if the battle exhausting you was never meant to be fought with words at all? Silence is also protection because it guards revelation. There are moments when speaking prematurely exposes strategy before its time. Great builders often move quietly until the work is strong enough to stand. Power does not always announce itself. Sometimes it develops in hidden places until the right moment arrives. In that sense, silence is not withdrawal, it is preparation. It protects momentum while unseen breakthroughs are forming. There is another dimension to this strategy. Silence keeps emotion from ruling decisions. In conflict, immediate reaction often feels powerful, but impulse is rarely wisdom. Many people sabotage breakthroughs because they answer too quickly, defend too aggressively, or speak while wounded. Discipline means refusing to let temporary emotion make permanent consequences. Silence creates space for discernment. In that space, clarity emerges, and clarity often reveals that what appeared to be a battle was merely a distraction. Some victories are achieved simply by outlasting opposition without being pulled into it. There is strength in refusing to descend into every struggle presented before you. Eagles do not fight every storm, they rise above them. Likewise, people of purpose learn that silence can elevate them beyond conflict others remain trapped in. Even spiritually, silence can be warfare. There are seasons when your refusal to complain, panic, or retaliate is itself an act of faith. It declares that circumstances do not have authority over your peace. It says your confidence is not dependent on visible evidence. That kind of silence carries power. Breakthrough often comes not because you forced a result, but because you had the wisdom to remain steady until the right opening appeared. Some doors open because you pushed. Others open because you waited. Disciplined silence is not absence of strength. It is refined strength. It protects peace, preserves focus, and positions you for victory that noise could have delayed. And sometimes the greatest breakthrough comes when you stop answering every battle and start discerning which battles deserve your silence. Retention hook. Could your next victory be waiting on the moment you stop reacting and discover the power hidden in quiet restraint? Silence is more than the absence of words. It is a discipline of wisdom, a shield for purpose, and a strategy for power. In conflict, silence preserves dignity. In purpose, silence protects vision. In character, silence reveals maturity. In battle, silence can become breakthrough. The strongest people are not always those who speak the loudest, but those who know when restraint carries greater authority than reaction. There are moments when one unnecessary word can create damage, and moments when one act of silence can preserve destiny. Learn the sacred power of holding peace when others demand noise. Guard your spirit from provocation, protect your calling from distraction, and trust that not every battle needs your voice to be won. Sometimes heaven works most powerfully when you remain still. Master silence, and your words will carry weight when they matter most. But what if one hidden situation, one most people never recognize, is the one where silence could change your entire future?